How's everybody doing this afternoon? You guys doing all right? Everybody got your coffee break and all that good stuff? One, I am super, super excited to be here, and I thank the Sage community. I want to thank Jerry and, of course, my dear friend Stacy for their awesomeness and amazement and for their daringness to invite me to come and speak today. I'm pretty excited about this, and when I was driving over here, let me tell you something that was really cool when I was driving over. I was driving over, and I was talking to Drew Brees when I was driving over. He says, like, dude, I got to send you something because I actually caught his first pass in the NFL. So he says, man, I'm going to send you something. I'm super excited about how I'm going to put this in my presentation and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, I got to throw Drew in there and I got to, say something that's really dope. And then I get here and Oria's speaking and that all of a sudden became the least of my concern. All of a sudden my thought was, how in the world am I going to follow her? Because she was amazing, right? Her story was amazing, and what she does for the community is amazing. However, I do have a job to do, and I'm going to do my best to do it. I'm going to talk to you guys today about a champion's mindset, something in my former profession we call a championship mindset. The champion's mindset, think like a champion and transform your business. But watch this, not just your business, your life, your relationships, everything that's important to you can be transformed by having this champion's mindset. I feel pretty qualified to talk about championships, even though I didn't necessarily win one when I was in the NFL. But that is one of the reasons why I'm here, because I did get an opportunity to play 8 years with the San Diego Chargers. I learned a lot about teams and employed a lot about teams because of my time in professional sports. The interconnectedness, having a part to play in something bigger than yourself, selflessness, things along that line were super important to me at this level. But before I started at that level, I started at the collegiate level. This is the University of Wisconsin, and we are the Big Ten team that has the most Big Ten championships in the history of the Big Ten. It is not Michigan or Ohio State, and it is the Wisconsin Badgers. I started with this team before I went to the Chargers team. And we won the Rose Bowl in 1994. I was a part of that team, as well as in 1995. Yours truly, was the MVP of the Outback Bowl in 1995. So I do feel qualified to have thank you, I appreciate that. I do feel qualified to talk a little bit about teams and championship mentality. But before I got on any of those teams, I was on this team. And these are my brothers and sisters in 1991. Back in Missouri, where I grew up. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, big Cardinal fan. They make you be that when you grow up in St. Louis. So I like the baseball Cardinals. And having 5 children in a family really was not considered a big family. Today, it's considered huge to have 5 children. But where I grew up, 5 children wasn't necessarily considered a big family. But it was a place where we learned a lot of things that I was able to employ and some of the things that I'll talk to you about today. 5 of us. I'm super proud of this crew. I could spend almost all my time talking about this crew. You see me, the handsome one in the middle with the glasses on, thinking that I'm super cool. And then that's my oldest brother in the tank top T-shirt that thinks he's GQ smooth. And, of course, my sister, who is the prettiest one of all of us. And then my little brother Brian in the Sooner shirt and Sean down there in the Missouri shirt. You can see we had a lot of competition in our house. We loved sports, we loved each other, and we thought that the Fletcher clan, the Fletcher team, was the coolest thing on the block. We didn't grow up rich, obviously. We grew up lower middle class, upper poor class, depending on payday. It would determine the class of family we were in. But we had something that many people on our block didn't have, and that was both of our parents in the household. Both of our parents, they taught us, they challenged us, they reared us, and in their quest to grow as one together, they made sure that us 5 became a unit and a team that would not just be a team when we were kids, but want to be a team when we grew older. And I'm so proud of this group. Of these 5, 4 of us had college scholarships to be athletes, all the boys, 1 wrestler, 3 football players. 2 of us had the nerve to go to the National Football League. The one that's in the Sooner shirt is the one that I want to talk about the least, but I imagine I should talk about him because he's my brother. I played 8 years here with the San Diego Chargers. He played 6 years, 3 with the Chicago Bears, 3 with the Indianapolis Colts, and he won the Super Bowl in 2008 while he was with the Colts. So I'm super proud of him. But not only am I proud of them for that, all of us have college degrees. 4 of us have secondary college degrees. 3 of us have earned doctorate degrees. And my parents are extremely proud of that because all they really wanted to do is to develop children that could get an education that from where we grew up, we could not really necessarily afford it. So through the gaming industry, sports, kicking around a football, we were able to realize some of our most wildest dreams. Now, the best athlete out of all of us was actually my sister, but somebody told her she was cute and she didn't want to sweat anymore, so she said, you guys go and work and then pay for my college, and that's essentially what ended up happening. But I'm super proud of all of them because they are also givers in their communities. My sister is the reigning Missouri Teacher of the Year, and she is giving back in the community in her own ways. My younger brothers are on Wall Street, and another one is a college professor now. He left Apple to be a college professor at San Jose State, and my oldest brother, runs a group home. And they were not just champions on the field, they were champions in life. They are my first team, and this is what we look like today. That's with my nieces and nephews, all of us crowded out. That is the Fletcher Team. I had to bench all of them for this team. That is my wife, and that is my bonus daughter, and I'm super excited because now they're my starters. They're our first team, and we get an opportunity to instill this championship mindset into Miss Kaya. I want to give you 4 things about a championship mindset that's important because some of you are business owners here. Many of you are in high positions in the corporations or in the businesses that you run. And I think that it's imperative that life not just be about performance, but it also be about the person. That life is not just about how many numbers we have at the end of the month, but how many lives we can impact. And through my journey of being one of 5 children, through my journey of playing on professional sports teams, collegiate sports teams, through my journey of understanding the value of what a team is and what a team means, I picked up some ideas about a championship mindset that I want to share with you. Because I do believe that whether you recognize it or not, there are some champions in this room. And champions are not described by performance only. Here's the first thought. Oh, well, that's me. How about that? Here's the first idea that I want you to write down if you're a note taker. The first mindset of a champion is that champions believe they belong in the game. Champions believe they belong in the game. I'm a big believer in this idea that beliefs are as important as abilities. A lot of people have a ton of abilities that don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that their abilities can take them anywhere. In fact, they don't even believe that they belong at the level their abilities have gotten them to. And we have to get past, each of us in this room, have to get past this idea of operating in the amazement of being in a room and adopting the reality that we belong in the room. Champions do not just get excited that they're in a room. They get over that, and they get excited over the fact that they belong in the room. In 1995, I got drafted by the San Diego Chargers, and I'll never forget this. It's like one of those things that I'll remember the rest of my life, primarily because who's involved in the story. My very first mini camp, I'm standing, I'm sleek, I'm 200 pounds. I stand right alongside, and the guy that's trying to guard me in the slot is Junior Seau. I'm 5'9", I'm 200 pounds. I'm as fast as I've ever been in my life. He's 6'3", he's 245 pounds. He's standing beside me, and all I could think to myself is I'm about to smoke him. They changed the play. They tell me to run a go route, and the go route in the NFL is basically just to run straight down the field. Just get around the guy any way you can and just run straight around the field. Because I had something that I assumed he didn't have, and that's called speed. Speed is an important factor in sports because you can't teach speed. You either got speed or you don't have speed. You don't get stronger and get faster. All you can do is work on your aerodynamics to make you more sleek. But speed is something the big man upstairs gives you or he didn't give you. And the thing I really like about having speed is if you're across from me, you can try as hard as you want to. You're just going to take it when I run past you. That's what I thought. At the level that when I got past him, I did my little move. I get past him, and when I get past him, I'm taking off running, and I'm thinking in my head that at the level I was before now, I would be 10 yards past this guy. But this guy's at my hip. At the level that I'm in now, he's at my hip. I go down, they throw me the pass, and I catch the ball, and it's a first down. At the previous level, this would have been a touchdown. But at this level, it's only a first down. I go home and I pick up the phone, which was my custom. I talk to my dad at that time almost every day of my life. Pick up the phone. Hey, son, how was your first camp? I say, hey, Dad, let me tell you something. This dude named Junior Seau, I took off running as fast as I could, and he had his hand on my hip. I'm going to tell you what, if everybody in this league is as big as he is and as fast as he is, I ain't going to be here too long. My dad tells me very seriously, he looks back at me, and he says, son, you insult the man that brought you there. He said, don't insult the man that brought you there, because this man wouldn't put his name, he wouldn't put his cachet, he wouldn't put his reputation on the line to bring you to this level if he didn't think you had the wherewithal to be at this level. So you've got to make up your mind. Are you going to believe that you're barely making it here, or are you going to believe that you belong here? And this is a shift in my champion's mindset. Because I think too many of us are just excited that we got there instead of realizing that you belong there. All these guys that say they didn't get the invites together, they didn't call and send out all the emailers, and we didn't get you all in this room simply because we wanted to have something good to do on a weekday, simply because we want to get you guys out of work. There is somebody that is putting their reputation in their line that believes that you've got the juice to be amazing at what you do. Champion's mindset doesn't just admire, it activates. And we've got to get past admiring the great talents in the room and start to realize and activate the great talent that we have. That doesn't mean don't honor. It just means know that you should be in this room. The second mindset that every champion has is that champions love the process as much as the outcomes. Champions love the process as much as the outcome. At the University of Wisconsin, our practice field, to get to the practice field, you had to walk through the weight room. And we had a sign on top of the weight room that basically said, the road to the Rose Bowl begins here. The Rose Bowl is the biggest game at the time I was playing. It was the biggest game. It was where the champion of the Big Ten played the champion of the Pac-10. That's why you saw us beating UCLA in the previous screen. It said that the road to the Rose Bowl goes through here. It wasn't saying literally that we would walk through. What they were trying to get us to understand is that the weight room for every athlete, for every person, is something that we hate just as much as most of the people in this room hate it. Like nobody can't wait to wake up and be sore and can't wait to go in and push weights around and be challenged every morning at 5 in the morning. Nobody jumps up and down about that because there's this thought that Saturday or Sunday is the real payday. But the real payday doesn't happen on Saturday and Sunday. That's the reward. We actually get paid for practice. We get paid to go through the pain. We get paid to go through the soreness. We get paid to go through all of the rigorous exercise that prepares us to do what we have to do on a Sunday. And here's the thing about it. You won't get to Sunday if you don't like Monday through Saturday. If you don't like the process, if you don't like the pain, you've got to fall in love with all of it. You have to fall in love with the highs and lows of business, the success and the failures in business, the up months and the down months. You have to stick to it because champions just simply don't quit. Champions don't give up. Champions don't allow the struggle that it takes to get to a good month to stop them from doing what they have to do. A champion simply has to fall in love with the process because real friendships are formed in the process. Real relationships are built in the process. Not at the end. You'll have a ton of friends at the end, I promise you. You have a lot of people with you at the beginning, I promise you. But in the struggle, a type of love is forged, a type of respect, a type of loyalty. I am friends with some of my former football players to this day because we built it in the fire of practices, not in the victories of games. The third mindset I want to run through is that champions take risks to get them from where they are to where they want to be. Risk. Have you noticed this interesting thing about life? Have you noticed this thing about life is that everything that you really, really want and desire, you don't have? That's an interesting thing in life. Everything that you desire is always right outside of your hands. It's on the other side of your comfort zone. Everything that you desire is on the other side of what you've already grasped. It's like we get to a goal that we desire, we get to it, and then there's another goal to go get. And the gulf between what you have and what you desire requires risk. The bridge, there is no bridge between what you have and what you desire and what you have. There's no bridge. So it takes faith, it takes a belief in yourself. And watch this, it takes a risk. It takes taking a risk. The greatest home run hitters are oftentimes the ones that strike out the most as well. The greatest, all of the great ones have high strikeout percentages. We reward them for their home runs, but we forget that they've got to take risks. And sometimes in the risk, you don't hit the home run. Sometimes in the risk, people don't buy the product. Sometimes in the risk, they do. The question is, are you willing to risk it for the greatness of what your business could be, or what your life could be, or what your heart could be, or what a renewed you could be? Are you willing to risk it? You know what I've learned? One of the things that you have to risk, that you have to give up the most whenever you want to transform or grow into something? Your former self. Your former self oftentimes pays the price for you trying to go to your next level. What are you willing to risk to get to your next level? Here's the fourth thing, and the final thing. I want you to write this down if you're writing it down, is that champions, they share their stories. Champions make other champions. Some of the people that I've been involved with that have built championship models and championship teams and championship programs, they are oftentimes the exact same system that is passed from coach to coach to coach. So in Ohio State or a USC or a Pittsburgh Steelers, for instance, they all the time they have winning formulas and winning models because they realize that in order to be a real champion, they have to build other champions. And champions have to tell their secrets and tell their stories and don't hoard it because you're really not great until you've made someone else great. Bobby Beathard, two-time Super Bowl winning general manager, Washington Redskins. He was also the gentleman that built our championship team here in San Diego that went to the Super Bowl. When I was a senior in college, he walked past. I never met him, did not know him. He walked past me, shook my hand, told me everything about me that he knew. And I couldn't believe that a man that was so great would sit down and talk to someone that's trying to get in his space. And the thing that he did, that he didn't realize he did to me and for me, was he made me feel like I mattered. This great man made this young man, feel like he mattered, feel like he belonged, feel like he could help the organization do what it sets out to do. And this is really the mark of a champion and a champion's mindset, is that can you make someone else great? So I appreciate you all for your time today. And I thank you for this opportunity to share. I thank you for Sage. But more than anything, I want you to go out and be champions in life and be champions in your business. God bless you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.